What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, I want to talk about Stephen A. Smith made some comments today on his show First Take, right? And so one thing now the question was like who has the most pressure on them to perform in the playoffs? And so they had a list. And at the top of Stephen A. Smith list, he had Ja Morant. He said that Ja Morant has the most pressure to perform in the playoffs. More pressure than he had number two. He had Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, and Luka Doncic, right? And so I disagree with with the statement that Ja Morant has the most to prove in the playoffs, like for the Grizzlies. First of all, the Grizzlies they don't even really have a good team, so expectations for the Grizzlies are not really high. Like people are not really expecting a lot out of the Grizzlies. So I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure on Ja Morant to get him to the playoffs and then to go deep into the playoffs, not with the Grizzlies. Even I think Kendrick Perkins even said that he thinks that the Grizzlies are they're about like 2 or 3 years away from having a really good team. And so that might be true. It may not be true, but I know like this year they don't have a good team. Like expectations, nobody around the league is really expecting them to do anything. I think that because of the distractions that Ja Morant has had over the last couple years, I think that kind of set the team back. And some of the moves that the team has made, like with getting rid of some of their players, I think that set the team back. So I don't, and then you have other teams in the West that are really good. So I don't think that Ja Morant has the most pressure. So number two on Stephen A. list was Donovan Mitchell. Now, I think Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, like of out of those five players that I mentioned, I think Donovan Mitchell has the most pressure because Donovan Mitchell had a pretty good team in Utah. When he was in Utah, he had a good team. Um, and they didn't really go deep into the playoffs. He wasn't able to get it done. And so with this Cleveland team that Donovan Mitchell is playing with, they got a good. He has another good team, and so that narrative that Donovan Mitchell can't get his team over the hump will continue for Donovan Mitchell if he don't get this team over the hump. So I think Donovan Mitchell has a lot of pressure on him. Let me see, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, I don't think that Anthony Davis have a lot of he has some pressure, but people really don't because his injury history, he's been injured so much throughout his career. People don't really they're not really they will like to get a lot from Anthony Davis, but they're not really I don't get the sense that people are expecting him to do too much for the Mavericks. I think that and like with him being hurt and him being out now, you know, I don't think that he'll have there's not a lot of pressure on Anthony Davis either. So Jimmy Butler, he had Jimmy Butler ranked number 4. Now, Jimmy Butler, I think Jimmy Butler don't have a lot of pressure on him because of Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, is not like a number one. Jimmy Butler is playing with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. I think it's more pressure on them. And not that there's a lot of pressure on Steph and Draymond, but I think there's more pressure on them than Jimmy Butler. That because they want to get this, they want to try to make a last run, at a championship before they go out. So I don't see a lot of pressure. People don't see Jimmy, they see him as an important piece, but they don't see him as the one who has to get them over the hump. It's more so that's falling so more so into Steph Curry's lap. but I don't think Jimmy Butler is under a lot of pressure. Now, Luca. Luca is there's a lot of pressure on Luca. Not for this season, I don't think, because people understand that Luca is on a new team, and with a new team, it's gonna be an adjustment period. So for this season, I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure on Luca. Now, going forward, moving forward, I think the pressure will continue to mount on Luca because of, like, last year he had his team in the finals. When he's with the Mavericks, so he had his team in the finals. They fell short, but like I say, he's with a new team this year, and I think everybody will understand. If Luca don't, if he don't really perform, his team don't perform well in the playoffs. I think people will, that they'll realize that, and so I don't think Luca is under a whole lot of pressure. But to me, like I said, it's Donovan Mitchell, and Imma rank him. I think it's Donovan Mitchell. He would be number 1 as far as, somebody who needs to perform in the playoffs. Is more urgent for Donovan Mitchell. Then number 2, I would put Luca. Luca would be number 2. He gotta perform. Number 3, I would put Anthony. I'm sorry, I would put Jimmy Butler at number 3. Then number 4, I would go with Anthony Davis, and then number 5, Ja Morant. Because I don't think people are expecting a lot out of Ja Morant or the Memphis Grizzlies this season. But definitely Donovan Mitchell. I think with that team he got over there, they got a lot of talent. Um, and they and they're number 1 in the East. So of course, if you're number 1 in the East, and all throughout the playoffs you have been playing, pretty hard, and you've been doing your thing, expectations is rising. And so with expectations rising, I think that just raises the stake, and people want to see Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. They want to see how far they can go. So in my opinion, it's definitely Donovan Mitchell. Like I said, he's number 1 out of that list, and that's my take on it. So I disagree with Stephen A. Smith. That's my take. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.